know, I mean,
This one?
you know, right. Yeah. You know, it's hard to like a football field. Basketball court, they're, you know, I mean, so it's the same size as that, you know, York, right? And then you go to like Baker's Life, it's like, oh, that's like a small basketball. There's a basketball court to fill. You know what I mean? There was standing inside that. Average cost of station. I don't need to. Yeah, that's probably like constructed.
And are you going to want to answer?
I got like some of the best seats in the house.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All, please come on up for invocation.
I promise not to pray about football. Let us be in prayer. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. Great is your faithfulness. Lord, we thank you for your faithfulness to us, that you so generously provide for our needs and care us and surround us with your love. We thank you for this meal, for the fellowship of Rotary, and for the opportunities to serve around the globe. Nourish us with your spirit, that we may be faithful in putting service above self. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
While we're standing, let's go ahead and repeat the Rotary four-way test. We do have a banner up this week. Of all the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? May be seated. Thank you. There are a few announcements this morning. First, you are all aware and have been reading a little bit about my presidential project, our food security summit for the county. Today there are flyers on your tables. I just put a handful at each table. Take it back to your place of work, to a bulletin board, pass it along to a colleague, especially if you know people working directly in food insecurities anywhere in Clinton County. That is really who we would like to attend. So the churches, the soup kitchens, you know, the Freezing for Food initiatives, school lunch programs, any of our social agencies who are working directly with DHS, food, nutrition, etc. So questions can be directed to myself or other committee members. Alethea is serving on the committee, Susie Messiker, Andy Green. Did I miss anybody? We also have some community members serving on the committee. So just reach out if you have questions. Otherwise, we are pushing now for RSVPs for the March 27th event. So take those with you, and I have more if you would like. Secondly, next week, our meeting, so depending on the year, depending on the holiday, we meet or not. Next week is President's Day, but we will have a Rotary meeting. It is going to be low tech, so sorry to our online friends. We're not going to have an online meeting option next week. Marcia Thrall will be leading a Black History mini workshop, Black History Month. So that's just going to be in person only, so we don't want to exclude our people online, but we'll just do that in person next week. And then Ray, I think you had an announcement. Come on up.
I'm so new to this. I'm very new to making announcements. I'm new to you. Last week when we got done, I took the button home, not knowing that I had the button on 2 hours later. So I made sure that I wore it all morning to make sure I brought it back, okay. Just a quick announcement, the Victory Center is in desperate need of a truck, a pickup truck. If you know of anybody that may be donating a truck, or if you want to contribute to a truck, we're in desperate need. We use the pickup truck to pick up the meals every single day from the 3 major supermarkets, Hy-Vee, Jewel's, and Walmart. We just need a truck, pickup truck. Okay, that's the announcement. I know you're concerned, so, thank you.
Sure. Are there other announcements today? Anybody? All right, we have a new member. You know, you're not really a member until you get your button. Speaking of the buttons, so Savannah Darty, if you'd like to come up and make your new member speech. You only get 10 minutes.
Hello, everyone. My name's Savannah Darty. I am a trust officer for Clinton National Bank. My background, I've been in banking since 2006, worked mostly for Wells Fargo Investments, Wells Fargo Private Bank, and now work in our investment management and trust department at Clinton National Bank. Thank you.
The Rotary Clinton National has several longtime members, including our past president, Rich Klon, and past president, Kathy Klon, and now they have converted to a corporate membership. So they're officially our second corporate member of the club. All right. Let me see if I'm forgetting anything. All right. We're ready for fellowship. Mr. Veenstra.
Thank you. Great. Thank you for the great round of applause. Marcia, you have a guest? Our speaker? Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Ballauer and then
Welcome to Rotary. Thank you. A couple student guests.
3 students from Clinton High, stand up and introduce yourself.
I'm Nathan Fry, and I'm a senior.
Oh, I'm Olivia Sanders. I'm also a senior. I'm Kaylee Ballauer. I'm also a senior, also from Clinton High.
Great. Welcome. And you guys will be back, so you have to give your presentation? Awesome.
They're all going to be back.
Okay. I don't think there's any anniversaries or birthdays, but today is National Umbrella Days, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Rihanna, umbrella. Wake you guys up this morning. Carrie, your table. Umbrella comes from the term umbra, which means to fall under. No, shadow. Shadow. Did you guys know that?
Yeah.
Wow. That's why I didn't pick you guys. Mr. Brown, how many umbrellas are sold in the United States? 10 million, 12 million, 33 million, or 55 million annually? 33 million. Mr. Fry, back in the back there. I'm sure you've had a few of these. Hawaiian bartender Harry Yee of the Hilton Waikiki was the first to use the paper umbrella in a beverage during the tiki culture crave. I wasn't around for that. What year was that, Mr. Fry? Was it 1952, 1959, 1963, or 1973? First paper umbrella.
1963.
Wrong, 1959. Claire, your table. The Beeler Umbrella Factory was the first umbrella manufacturing company here in the United States. What year was it established? 1818, 1828, 1865, or 1923?
1818.
1828. Wrong. Heather, your table. Where was the pocket or foldable umbrella invented? Was it the United States, China, Japan, or Hungary? Yes, Hungary. Yeah. Smart table. I thought I'd get the group on that one. All right, last question about umbrellas. Rihanna, the song I played, debuted in 2007. Rich, it remained atop the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 for how many consecutive weeks? 4, 6, 7, or 10?
All right, 10, we'll go 10.
7. Good job. Thank you, everybody.
For anyone who's not aware, our fellowship funds support our scholarship fund. So even though we have to pay for wrong answers, it all goes to a good cause.
Right.
So nicely done, Ryan Beakstra. Thank you. All right, with no further ado, I'll pass it to Marcia with our program for today. Thank you. Thank you.
So as you know, our guest today is Deputy Police Chief James Ballauer. Jim came to us from Chicago in 2021, correct? And he has a BS in law enforcement and justice administration from Western Illinois University. He graduated in '97. I have a great deal of respect for Jim. I think he's doing an excellent job as our deputy police chief. I work with him on a couple of different committees here in Clinton, and I am grateful for the good work that he is doing. So without any further ado, I'm just going to come and let him tell us about the good work that he's doing here within the community of Clinton. Welcome, Jim.
For that kind introduction, Marcia. I want to apologize to my table for giving my answer and the definition of umbra, and I was way off. So, but I am going to try to work the word umbra into my speech at some point correctly. Mr. Pillars, please don't cross-examine me on anything I say up here tonight.
Okay, you should be good to go.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is a true honor and privilege to be here with all of you today. As members of the Rotary Club, each one of you embodies a spirit of service above self, striving to make a positive impact in our community and around the world. Your dedication to humanitarian efforts, education, and building bridges of understanding is truly inspiring. Today, I'd like to share with you some highlights from the past year of the Clinton Police Department. Together, we'll explore how we can continue to make a difference, not only as individuals, but as a united force for good. Through collaboration, compassion, and a shared vision for a brighter future, there's no limit to what we can achieve. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jim Ballauer. I've been here for, as Marcia said, going on 4 years next month. I came here after 23 years on the Chicago Police Department, where I retired as a commanding officer of the Education and Training Division, or the Recruit Training Division. Prior to that, I worked all over the city from top to bottom, 8th and 9th district on the south side. Anyone's familiar in the south side, Chinatown, White Sox Park. I worked in a couple citywide units, and I worked in the Division of Organized Crime as a sergeant. All right, so I'm going to go to the first slide. Is our calls for service this year. If you can read the pie chart there, we have everything broken down. I'm going to have to move this a little so I can see. Okay. That's perfect right there. As you can see broken down, the biggest slice of the pie there is self-initiated field activity with 12,245 calls. So these self-initiated are business checks and property checks throughout the city, from the library to the riverfront, schools, airport. We direct our officers to go out and check businesses across the city over the course of the night. So they're not just driving in circles looking for someone to pull over, they're actually out there inspecting stuff. So as you can see, that's the biggest slice of what our guys do, and ladies. The second biggest slice of that is traffic stops with 5,394. So if you look at the pie, if you take those two pieces together, you can see that our officers are active and they're out there proactively protecting the citizens of the city. Other ones are broken down by smaller assaults, burglar alarms, burglary, things like that. This is not an all-inclusive list. We have 38,800 yearly calls, equals about 109 calls daily. This divided by 2 shifts is approximately 55 calls per shift. Overall, for service, calls for service were up 0.4 in 2023. However, we took in almost 15% fewer reports than the 5-year average in 2023. I'm going to speak a little bit on our mobile crisis services, which this will truly be Chief Jurion's legacy on the department, who was instrumental in, along with Captain Pat Cullen, in instituting this. The Clinton Police Department and the Eastern Iowa Mental Health have been working a pilot project, which is no longer pilot anymore, it's completely developed, in which mental health counselors are paired up with officers and respond to calls where persons are in a mental health crisis. The service is no cost to the citizens of Clinton. It's designed to de-escalate emotionally charged situations and provide immediate mental health services to those in need. In the past, and especially in my career before this took place, we would get calls to mental health cases and officers were really not trained on how to deal with it. Most of the time we ended up taking the people to jail that were simply in mental crisis because we weren't trained on how to deal with it. We really didn't know. The families sometimes didn't know how to deal with them if they were, tearing the house apart and flipping couches and things like that. We ended up taking them to jail. And a lot of times we had to use force and people ended up getting hurt. Recently, we've been trained better and this way we instituted this. So now with mobile crisis, they come out and hopefully talk them into getting help and taking them to the hospital. It's been hugely effective to the point now where even people that are in crisis will sometimes just take themselves to the police department and come to the front and say, I need to speak to a counselor. So it's been very beneficial. Our drug addiction response team, this is run by Sergeant Dean Otten, as you see in the picture there with Chief Jurion. Officers use DART when responding to DART-related calls. The Clinton Police documented 87 calls for service. The calls do not include individuals contacted at monthly outreach events. Sergeant Ottens actively works with the Area Substance Abuse Council to provide law enforcement and first responders in our county with addiction and Narcan training. Recently, he's been working hard on the new state law that prohibits businesses from displaying glass or metal pipes. For those of you that went to college, bongs, with the, I don't even tell you what those are for. So they're not allowed to display those anywhere where there are children under 21 years of age can see it. Businesses that wish to continue this must have them in an enclosed area and must receive a permit. So they went out and checked this Friday and a lot of businesses were not in compliance but promised to get into compliance. So we will see how that goes. We hired 3 new employees last year. Michael Barger graduated from Clinton High School in 2014. Officer Barger joined the Clinton Police Department on August 14th. He has 2 years of prior law enforcement experience with the Erie, Illinois Police Department. Jordan Lawrence graduated from Comanche High School in 2021. He was hired on August 19th. He has just graduated the academy and is now in field training with us. I learned something interesting about Officer Lawrence yesterday. He was a state track finalist his senior year of high school, and he took 2nd place in the 100-meter dash, and he lost to Cooper DeJean of the Philadelphia Eagles. So he's been getting teased quite a bit about that lately. Lastly, Kelsey Stoddard. Kelsey Stoddard was one of our public service officers. She decided she wanted to go into policing. She graduated Clinton High School in 2012. She was hired previously as a public service officer in 2017, and she graduated from the Enforcement Academy last year in 2024. Just a picture of some police officers in action. Does this come out? Or? Okay, a couple of different things our officers have done this year. Shop with a Cop, Music on the Avenue, the picture there is from Mardi Gras Parade and Safety Town. So our officers are well involved outside of their regular patrol duties and do participate in a lot of community events. Also last year, we had the naming of 17th place to Officer Todd Wayne Stone. Officer Stone was killed in the line of duty here in Clinton on January 27th, 1993, after he was involved in a vehicle crash while pursuing a vehicle. Officer Stone left behind 2 young children at the time of incident. Officer Stone's brother, Tony, is currently a patrol sergeant on the Clinton Police Department. Also, we lost Captain, to retirement. Captain Cullen retired this past January 31st after 35 years of service to the Clinton Police Department. He was presented with the Martin Luther King Peace and Justice Award this past January by the Living Peace 365 organization for his work with the community over the past 35 years. Matt Lorenzen, who was promoted in his place, will be the new commander of the patrol division. And Matt is beginning his 31st year with the department. Apologize for that. The shadow here is causing an umbra over the screen here, so I was unable to see that. Okay, also we're excited to start our first annual CPD Junior Academy. This is a brainchild of our school officer, Shane Haskell. I've been working with him on this. It's going to start in March. It's going to be a 12-week program limited to the 7th graders at Clinton Middle School, with a goal of positively impacting our youth and hopefully guiding them to a career in policing. 2 years ago, Captain Cullen and myself started we had the Citizens Police Academy here in Clinton, and we started the Junior Police Academy, which was a one-day thing in the summer on a Saturday where we brought 5th and 6th graders out and taught them fingerprinting and making clay models of their shoes or printing and that. And we decided we wanted to move on and do something better, a little bit more structured, more weekly thing. So we're going to do this with the ultimate goal of kind of bringing up officers in our town. We do have a lot of officers from the town, but law enforcement is getting harder and harder to find people. And we really, we have a treasure trove of kids here, and we kind of want to build them up from here. And with the ultimate goal in 5 or 6 years, with some of these kids going through, that they become officers here in Clinton or anywhere, but Clinton preferably. And lastly, the Clinton Police Department celebrated 135 years last April 6th, Saturday, April 6th. The department had a prayer service. Several retired officers attended, and a luncheon was held after. That's all I have here. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer a few for you.
Any reflections on the school resource officer program? I know Clinton has got 3, Comanche's got 1, and so on. Effectiveness of that program is moving forward.
It's been working wonderfully. Our officers are very dedicated to it. I know we've speak with Wes if there's any issues, and he hasn't come to me with any issues, so I believe it's going well. Like I said, with starting the Junior Academy, that was really the brainchild of Shane Haskell, and you guys all know Shane, and very committed to the youth and children's community. So I believe that's going to be a very positive future for the city. A lot, okay.
It's interesting to see the stats, and I think of how different your career must be coming from, different districts of, such a big city like Chicago and coming to Clinton. What do you see as the biggest factors impacting our crime rate or like the activity for your officers?
Unfortunately, it's drugs is the biggest impact on the community. And although our guys were dedicated to this, we have an officer assigned to the Black Hawk Area Task Force, works with Illinois and Iowa for drug smuggling and things like that. So we are trying as hard as we can to stay on top of it. We've had a lot of recent arrests. But that's the main issue that I see is drugs, and with drugs brings thefts, burglaries. So if we can work on that, especially with the DART program and bringing a little bit of that under control, hopefully it alleviates some of the other crimes.
My sister was traveling from San Antonio to Florida alone with her husband and found an unidentified air tag in her gas cap. Now, you see it and hear it around here where they put things like one of our girls at work, they had something tied to her handle. Are you seeing a lot of that in this area?
Very rare, but we did have a woman last year that was leaving a bar. I don't want to give the name of the bar, but they were leaving a bar in town and had an air tag that they found. And what we can do to that is, as far as recommending, if your phone pops up that you have an unknown air tag following you, drive to the police station, call the police, or drive directly to the police station. That's what we advise most people, and our officers can help try to figure that
But
out.
nothing like zip ties or anything like that because have you heard that story where girls coming up where they know they're leaving work and they'll do zip ties and.
I have not heard anything like that. In that case, I don't recall how they put it in there. Sometimes there's like urban myths that go out about stuff like that, and I don't know how true it is, but here in our community, I haven't heard other than that one case. But again, if it shows that something's following, because your phone will pop up that you have an air tag following you, and if it's not yours, I would recommend you call the police. In the back, sir.
You mentioned difficulty in hiring new officers. Has the department identified the factors or go into making it more difficult for officers?
Well, the 2020 riots across the country were very influential into people changing their mind and becoming police officers, unfortunately. We are working hard across the country. They're trying to hire more officers. Some departments are lowering standards of who they bring in, which we don't want to do. We want to hire the best people we can. We've been lucky here that we've had a pool, relatively smaller pool than normal, but we have had a pool of officers come out, and we do we go out to Western Illinois University, my alma mater, which was a big law enforcement university, and they have a job fair twice a year for the law enforcement students. So we make sure we attend there, and we just basically try to get the word out. Facebook, social media is the best way of doing that. We're a little luckier here in Iowa because Illinois is really kind of turned their laws against police officers, and I can go on for another hour about that, which I won't. But so it is more beneficial to be a police officer in the state of Iowa than Illinois. So we have had a couple of officers come over from Illinois as well. Sir?
Yeah, Jim, I was, you know how I am. I deal with the drug issue every single day. So the fentanyl issue is really a big crisis the way I see it. And I don't know how your officers are, cooperating with a resolve there or some type of resolve. Because that's serious stuff.
It is, and we have, like I said, the Black Hawk Area Task Force. Those that don't know, it's a task force between Illinois police and I believe we're the only jurisdiction in Iowa that's part of it. But they work with the Iowa State Police, Illinois State Police, the DEA, and we've been really fortunate to have some good arrests with fentanyl lately. We have a couple of cases going right now. One of our officers, corporal assigned there, does excellent work. So, it's a rough problem and it's a big problem, but we do feel that Clinton Police Department, along with the task force and with the DEA, are doing our fair share here in Clinton to keep it contained.
What's the capability of the jail? How many people can you jail?
That would be a question for Sheriff Greenwald.
Okay, so you don't,
Yeah.
I just wondering.
So that would be a better question for him.
Yeah.
You said that our police department's been around for 135 years. How many officers have been lost in that time?
In the line of duty, we've had 2. Officer Stone, and then forgive me for not remembering the other officer's name, but that was, I believe, in the early 1920s or 30. Those of you that know Les Shields, he does an excellent presentation on both the officer and Officer Stone. I know he was shot and killed trying to apprehend a wanted offender on Comanche Avenue, I think, which would be right in the area of Hy-Vee where the turn is over there. I believe it happened over there. And he went up to try to get him. The individual came out with a gun and shot him once in the chest and killed him. The subject was caught and charged. But I feel bad, I cannot remember his name right now. Marsha.
So I have a sensitive question that might be a little bit controversial. But last week we had Angela Bullens, who is the president of Iowa Nights here. And for those who are not aware, in Clinton County, we have a very, I would say, we have a very significant population of migrant refugees here from Ukraine. What is the Clinton Police Department's stance on assisting ICE should it come down to busting places here that might have people here on CPS?
Well, we haven't had any of that asked of us yet, but the Clinton Police Department will enforce all laws, that federal and state laws. We don't have a choice to pick and choose what we enforce. It's a federal law. We have to accommodate federal authorities. So it hasn't come to anything like that yet. And you know, if that comes up, there'll be discussions, I'm sure. But it is the policy of the Clinton Police Department to abide by all federal and state laws. You know, we might not personally like the laws, but we don't get to pick and choose what we enforce. Gary?
Challenges of the differences in state law between Illinois and Iowa. You mentioned drugs earlier. Obviously, marijuana is one of those where there's a huge difference. What challenges does that create for your department?
Well, again, we we can't pick and choose. You know, my personal opinion on marijuana, I don't get to choose what that is. We have to enforce it, and it is much stricter here in Iowa than Illinois. But our officers are good. They're diligent. They do their job, and they can't let personal feelings come into play. You know, if the state legislature passes a law and we're determined to enforce it, we have to enforce it. So that's pretty much on that marijuana. Mr. Pillars.
Just curious what you think about how's the job of law changed over the years since you started?
Technology, clearly. When I first came on, you know, we have computers in the car now. They have printers in the car. If you get a ticket, they print out the ticket right in the car. I might know this from personal experience a few months ago. Body cameras, everything. So when I first came out in Chicago in 1998, we got in the car and they gave us a radio and they said, okay, let's take down your jobs. And we had a pen and paper and started writing down all the calls we had to go to. Now it pops up right on a computer. Body cameras have been huge, both pro police and people arrested. There's, you know, before it would go to a judge and the judge would hear both sides and take into account, make a decision. Now it's all on video. My favorite thing about body cameras is, you know, when you get to court and the person you were fighting with and was spitting on you and screaming and kicking the windows shows up in a suit and glasses and looks all studious, the judge and the jury get to see the video of what happened that night. But again, it also keeps officers in check for officers. You know, when we do get complaints in, we review the videos and handle it accordingly. So I you know, when it first came out, I'll tell you most officers were against it. But I couldn't tell you one in our department was against it. I'm a big advocate of it. Tasers are another thing. They've been instrumental in keeping, you know, uses of force from escalating. A lot of times when someone sees a taser come out, it's the end of the, you know, refusing to cooperate. Drones, for instance, we had a incident today that was a search warrant that was going on today. And in the past, in a dangerous search warrant, if someone had a weapon in there and we had to kick the door and go in, you know, we had to go in with a shield. And it was very dangerous for all involved. Now we have a drone that can fly in the front door and fly through the house and locate the person. Which we were going to utilize today, but thankfully the individual came out, was uneventful. But things like that are just, you couldn't even dreamed of 25 years ago.
Jim, how do you deal with illegal aliens when you catch him, doing criminal activity?
Well, right now we don't. You run someone's name, it doesn't come up that they're illegal, and I don't believe that we've had any instances where anyone was caught here that they came up as illegal. So I really couldn't give you an answer on that right now.
Okay.
But like I said, when we get to something like that, we'll have to address it. But again, we have to abide by federal law here.
Do you have any programs or PR information that helps realtors and other people that are trying to bring new people to the community? Because a lot of times we hear, oh, there's too much crime there, we don't want to move to Clinton.
Yeah, that's a good question. If you look at, you can go online on the city's website of police and look at our yearly reports and crime statistics, and they've gone down significantly over the past 8-9 years. Unfortunately, there's some websites that if you put in Clinton, Iowa, it comes up worst city in Iowa, 8th worst in. The numbers just aren't true, and we've had to deal with that a few times with some businesses and citizens thinking that. But I personally feel that Clinton's a very safe place. I'd feel comfortable walking 3 o'clock in the morning down any street here, and I mean that honestly. And that's coming from growing up in Chicago. I really do feel that Clinton is a safe place. I believe so I've been here 4 years. I'm aware of 2 armed robberies in the entire time I've been here in the past 4 years. And one was a guy robbed a convenience store, and they knew who he was right away. He came in, and when the police showed up, they said, "Oh yeah, that's so-and-so." So he was apprehended. So, like I said, it's no matter what you see online or anything. I'm telling you, Clinton is a very safe city.
Do you have people that are trying to get arrested to get off the street for a period of time? Perform better?
No, not so much. I mean, most of the time when that happens, it's someone with mental issues and isn't on their medication. We do run into a lot of homeless, and our officers do go down by the riverfront, and a lot of them just don't want help, don't want to come with you. And they're happy down there. I don't ask me for whatever reason. I know, a lot of it is mental illness. But as far as trying to get arrested to get into jail for that, we don't see that very often. That's all. Okay. No, I thank you for all your questions. On behalf of Chief Jerrigan and the Clinton Police Department, thank you again for inviting me here to speak and to update you on the progress being made at the Clinton PD, and I hope to get a chance to speak here again in the future. Thank you. And I'd like to thank Marcia as well for inviting me. Glad I did not go with the computer.
I'm gonna send you with this. Our club knows that our tradition each week is to have our speakers sign a book, and then we donate the book to the Children's Department of the Clinton Public Library. This week's is the Sherlock Society. So we'll have you sign that. There's a little nameplate in the front.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that was fun. I think we really appreciate your willingness to sit in the hot seat for a minute. And I've always said I have a long list of things that I like about this club and this group of people, but everyone's really inquisitive. So hopefully we came up with some good questions for you. I don't want to forget to mention that we have a get well card for Dave Sivright. He's been having some health issues. You may have signed it on your way in, but if you didn't, we'll have it up here and Cheryl Fry will take care of that. So make sure to sign the card. I want to thank Gary for being our greeter today and Ryan Veenstra for his excellent fellowship trivia. Thanks to Paul for your invocation and Marcia for the program. Any further announcements? Anything going on? All right, with that, experience the magic of Rotary.
Thursday, yeah. We're gonna ride in together. We're gonna ride in together.
Yeah, when you said, oh, I can help, I forgot about the bell. But yeah, you can get the bell out. Perfect. Thank you. That was really good. I really liked that.